Now, see, this is exactly the shit that makes me say bullying needs to make a comeback. Because clearly embarrassment is the only thing that makes people do their fucking job. Let me say this loud for the people in the back. Stop going into healthcare if you cannot show compassion for all people. If you haven't seen the video of the woman in active labor who sat in the waiting room for 30 minutes before even going into intake at the Dallas Regional Medical Center in Texas, which is extremely confusing because they offer labor and delivery at the hospital, and they say on their websites they pride themselves in compassion and comfortable care for mothers. But is the compassion in the fucking room with us? Now, if you've ever given birth and you know that pressure you feel in your ass, that's the body's final warning. And the lack of urgency in the fucking room was loud. Surely they should know that this could be extremely dangerous. Delaying care like that puts both the baby and the mother in extreme risk. Loss of oxygen, emergency delivery, hemorrhaging, fetal distress. This isn't a small mistake. This is a mistake that can cost a life. Pure negligence. And if this is how they treat women on camera, imagine the shit that they're doing when they're not getting caught.
I don't see this getting enough attention, so we're going to go ahead and just get straight to the point. This is Nurse LaChrista Vaughn. LaChrista works at Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, and the other day she had a woman in the triage room and she had no type of sense of urgency whatsoever. Mind you, this patient was clearly in pain, and you can even hear in her tone of voice that she just did not care whatsoever. I'm going to insert a snippet of the video that I saw so you guys can take a look.
Fuck! When's your due date? Right now. Is your due date 11? What?
As y'all saw from the clip, she showed no type of empathy and no type of sense of urgency whatsoever. In fact, the way she was even asking the questions, she sounded more annoyed than anything. When is your due date? How many times have you been pregnant? Like, she sounded like this was something that just annoyed the crap out of her. And when you go through her social media posts, which is all public, by the way, she constantly makes jokes like this right here. And then to top it all off, the hospital itself has horrible reviews. So you would think that with those horrible reviews, they would be on the employees to try and turn their brand around. But instead, you have comments being left like these right here. And the craziest part about this is that before anyone assumes that, okay, these are just spam comments after this event took place, it's not. A lot of these comments are from 5 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 11 months ago. And what's really bad is the fact that she's even been mentioned in a lot of those reviews, and somehow she's still employed there. LaChrista, if you see this, I just think that it is disgusting how you can post stuff like this and yet you don't own up to it. You're not a good person.
LaChrista Vaughn has not been fired. Don't be fooled. It's your boy Youngstar63 Fat Jar at the DJ. I need you to like, comment, follow, share, and get into this because you know that Dallas nurse that watched that lady in labor and they were completely insensitive in Mesquite, Texas? Yeah, they told her she was fired. She not fired. Now, we've all seen the video of the woman who's trolled up to the hospital in Mesquite, Texas, and she was treated horribly. She's in the middle of labor. You can tell this woman's in excruciating pain, and they are just being completely insensitive. We all know what happened. But it came out a couple days later that the woman, the nurse that actually was in that video, was fired. And we all rejoiced. You know, people had doxed the lady. They had doxed the hospital. They were out in front of the hospital protesting. There was even a hospital across the street. They had gotten mixed up. They was out there protesting in front of that hospital, harassing people. Like, they were not playing. It was on this lady's head. When the lady stopped coming to work, people came out and said that the lady was fired. That is not what happened. Because of the amount of tension that is going on and because of the amount of virality that happened, the woman is on administrative leave or some sort of leave. She's not allowed to be in the hospital because y'all have doxed the hospital. Y'all have been outside protesting the hospital. Y'all have called in bomb threats. Y'all have... Can I say that word on TikTok now? It's just, I don't know. But nonetheless, y'all have just gone in, making sure that this lady don't get a chance to work. But the hospital has not fired her. She is under investigation, but she's not allowed on the property. The moral of this TikTok, y'all keep y'all foot on that lady neck and the hospital's neck. She got to go. Y'all keep protesting. Y'all keep doxing. Y'all keep telling them what they got to do because they ain't going to be treating us any kind of way. How did I know that this was what she was going to look like? I just felt it in my spirit. She was going to look like this. Blue-eyed and pale. We got to do better.
On November 11th, a woman went to the Dallas Regional Medical Hospital in Texas to have her baby. A nurse by the name of LaChrista Vaughn made that woman sit while she was in active labor in the ER while she triaged her. Asked her a whole bunch of pointless questions while this woman was in active labor, screaming her head off in pain. She's asking her, when is your due date? Now, obviously. She asked this woman, how many pregnancies has she had? how many children she had at home, all of these random questions, right? Ask who her doctor is, all of this stuff, right? Like that. This woman was actively screaming in active labor. This woman picks up the phone and sits there like she hears nothing, right? Her mother is recording this whole thing. I have reposted these videos on my page. The nurse, LaCrista Vaughn, sat there like that woman was not screaming her head off. At one point, the mother asked if someone from anesthesiology can come down to help her. The nurse looked at her and said, "I cannot help you. They're going to take you up to labor and delivery soon." She said, "That's not what I asked. Can someone from labor and delivery come down?" Mind you, the mother is not even sitting down in the wheelchair anymore. She is standing up with her knees in the wheelchair because she's in so much pain. Okay. The nurse looked at her and said, "Labor and delivery will be coming down to get you soon." And the woman's like, "Can someone from anesthesiology come and help me?" The woman said, "I cannot help you." Okay. Baby KJ was born 12 minutes later. She couldn't even get an IV or anything like that because the baby was already crowning while she was sitting there in the ER, while that nurse was refusing to truly help her. Okay. On top of that, the baby was in distress. Okay. The baby had a bowel movement green while inside of the mother and was born with his eyes open. So now they have to keep a close eye on him and go for several tests. That mother and the baby KJ should not be out of the hospital right now. They should not, but they are. Okay. If you go to the mother's page, they have a registry set up on Amazon to help the baby and everything like that. This is completely ridiculous that LaCrista Vaughn at the Dallas Regional Medical Hospital in Texas sat there and let that woman be in pain, severe pain like that. Her mother has the videos on her page. I'm going to tag the mother's page right here. It is really jacked up. Really jacked up. Prayers to the mother and that baby KJ. His birthday is November 11th. He was 7 pounds, 7 ounces.
Look guys, now it is so funny to see such kind of act happening. Now you see this mother is just minutes away from delivering. And you see the kind of reaction from the nurse. Now she's more concerned about the company than a life. We have to choose between life and the company or the hospital. What is more important? Life is very priceless. And we see, this madam, choosing a company over this unborn young one. Now I want us to watch the videos and also watch the reactions of some people concerning the videos, and then later on I'll be reacting to it. You can also, as you watch the video, drop your thoughts, drop your views concerning this act. I'm personally heartbroken by this kind of acts, even if it's not racism. I cannot really, of course it's racism. I can tell, because can this happen if it was someone of a different skin tone? Now drop your thoughts concerning this. Do you think is real this is just racism, or it's lack of ethics? Drop your thoughts. I'll be here and I'll also react to the very up to the very end. Not up to the very end. I'll also react at the end of the video. So make sure that you watch to the very end. And I would like to also get to see it from your view, from your perspective. For now, let's jump in.
And it was told to me that she can't be in the hospital because people have been out in front of the hospital protesting, sending in bomb threats. They even had hospitals mixed up, and there's another hospital across the street. They was over there harassing them people. So the internet is on full 100. And that's the thing. People take things from the internet and they, become reality. Like it's scary. You got to be very careful how you treating people out here, because you
can't, man, if you look at the video, look at her face. Somebody took a screenshot of this video, and when I tell you the lady is truly evil, she is truly evil. Now, like I said, this video is from 2023. So Miss LaCrista, she been doing this for a while. Dallas Regional Medical Center has been under scrutiny for quite some time now. So this is nothing new. This is actually sad and sickening, bro.
The video I just watched is absolutely horrifying. There is footage circulating on social media right now of a young black pregnant mother in active labor arriving to an emergency department, and instead of receiving urgent, compassionate care, the triage nurse appears to be more focused on completing paperwork than focusing on the human life right in front of her. It appears she doesn't visibly check her, no fetal monitoring, no stabilization, instead forms in a mother that is in active labor. This is a medical emergency, and in that moment, she appears to be completely ignored. No empathy, no humanity, just cold, and that is completely unacceptable. My heart goes out to that mother. I hope with all my being that she and her baby are okay, because we as healthcare workers, we should be the ones that embody light, hope, compassion, humanity. But in this case, all of that was missing. And here's the hard truth. This is not an isolated incident. Black women in the United States are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. 3 times. If you saw that video and if what you witnessed is an obvious display of discrimination and you felt your blood boil, you are not alone, because I am fired up too. Because this is entirely preventable. And as caregivers and as healers, we must demand better from ourselves and from our system. And to that young mother, I truly hope you're okay. I hope someone stepped in. I hope you were heard, and I hope you were seen. To my fellow healthcare workers, we need to do better. We must show up. We must listen. We must take action, because every mother deserves dignity. Every baby deserves life, and every patient deserves humanity.
Tell me why I saw a black mother about to give birth not in the delivery room, but in the damn waiting area, waiting for a nurse to sort through the damn documents. This black mother came in clearly in active labor, like full contractions, barely standing, and instead of rushing her to a delivery room, the nurses told her to sit in the waiting area. The waiting area. I couldn't believe it. This woman was crying out, gripping the chair, literally screaming in pain, and the nurses were just ignoring her, acting like her suffering was background noise. They were chatting, sorting paperwork, moving at the slowest pace imaginable, while this poor woman was basically about to give birth right there on the floor. She sat there for over 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And then, get this, they finally take her back, and her baby is born 12 minutes later. And I'm telling you right now, if she hadn't been a black woman, they would have rushed her straight back without a second thought. What I saw was neglect. It was disrespect. It was absolutely racist, and it made my stomach drop.
A black pregnant woman was in active labor. Her water had broken. She was doubled over in pain, screaming in a wheelchair. Yet the nurse responsible for helping her, LaCrista Vaughn, stayed cold, slow, and completely unconcerned. This video from Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, has enraged millions online. According to the woman's mother, the hospital had already been notified that her daughter was coming, and they knew she was in active labor and unable to walk. But when they arrived, the nurse demanded they complete paperwork first, ignoring the fact that the woman was seconds away from giving birth. The contrast in the video is shocking. A mother fighting through unbearable pain, and a nurse who acted like nothing urgent was happening. The woman's mother believes if she wasn't black, this would never have happened. Meanwhile, some people are defending the hospital, claiming it was a process issue or lack of staffing. So what do you think? Is this negligence, racial bias, or a failure of the entire medical system? Tell me your thoughts in the comments.
Okay, I want to explain something about burnout. Working in the medical profession, yes, you can experience burnout. You can experience burnout at any job. However, when you're working at a job and people's lives are in your hand and you feel like you're just too stressed to actually show any sort of compassion, then you need to have a coworker or somebody else to step in for you. And I am still confused as to how this lady, this demon lady, was able to even come in contact with this mother who was labor in the first place. Like, whoever checked her in, when you walk through the door, there are people sitting at this counter collecting your information. What brings you in today, man? I have a baby. It feels like he's in my ass right now. That person should have immediately called labor and delivery. Don't tell her to have a seat for 30 minutes and somebody from triage will be right with you. And the mom is right. When she told her daughter, hey, when you found out that you were having your baby here, you should have switched your doctor. That leads me to believe that this whole hospital has some sort of issue and they need to be investigated. Like, the whole entire system.
On November 11th, a woman went to the Dallas Regional Medical Hospital in Texas to have her baby. A nurse by the name of LaCrista Vaughn made that woman sit while she was in active labor. in the ER while she triaged her. Asked her a whole bunch of pointless questions while this woman was in active labor, screaming her head off in pain. She's asking her, when is your due date? Now, obviously. She asked this woman how many pregnancies has she had, how many children she had at home, all of these random questions, right? Ask who her doctor is, all of this stuff, right like that. This woman was actively screaming in active labor. This woman picks up the phone and sits there like she hears nothing, right? Her mother is recording this whole thing. I have reposted these videos on my page. The nurse, LaCrista Vaughn, sat there like that woman was not screaming her head off. At one point, the mother asked if someone from anesthesiology can come down to help her. The nurse looked at her and said, I cannot help you. They're going to take you up to labor and delivery soon. She said, that's not what I asked. Can someone from labor and delivery come down? Mind you, the mother is not even sitting down in the wheelchair anymore. She is standing up with her knees in the wheelchair because she's in so much pain. Okay. The nurse looked at her and said, labor and delivery will be coming down to get you soon. And the woman's like, can someone from anesthesiology come and help me? The woman said, I cannot help you. Okay. Baby KJ was born 12 minutes later. She couldn't even get an IV or anything like that because the baby was already crowning while she was sitting there in the ER, while that nurse was refusing to truly help her. Okay. On top of that, the baby was in distress. Okay. The baby had a bowel movement green while inside of the mother and was born with his eyes open. So now they have to keep a close eye on him and go for several tests. That mother and the baby KJ should not be out of the hospital right now. They should not, but they are. Okay. If you go to the mother's page, they have a registry set up on Amazon to help the baby and everything like that. This is completely ridiculous that LaCrista Vaughn at the Dallas Regional Medical Hospital in Texas sat there and let that woman be in pain, severe pain like that. Her mother has the videos on her page. I'm going to tag the mother's page right here. It is really jacked up. Really jacked up. Prayers to the mother and that baby KJ. His birthday is November 11th. He was 7 pounds, 7 ounces.
When's your due date?
Right now.
Is your due date September 11th?
What?
How many times have you been pregnant?
3.
This is your 3rd pregnancy?
Yes.
You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass.
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
Beverly, this is the personality patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due date
I
is
just
the
said
10th.
it was the 10th.
I think her due date is the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people.
Yes.
Are you able to call the anesthesiologist?
Someone is coming to take you to labor and delivery.
That's not what I asked.
I cannot, no.
Hello guys, now welcome back again. Now this situation here is profoundly disturbing because it involves this woman, and one of the most vulnerable and frightening moments of her life, being denied the urgent help that she needed. Instead of the people focusing on the paperwork, they should have, not the people, instead of this nurse, of course we are speaking about this nurse here, instead of her focusing on helping her give birth, she prioritizes a company over her life. And that's very dangerous, because this kid could have died inside the mother's womb, and at the same time the woman could have died too, because it happens, on both sides. The kid dies, and the woman, of course, follows the kid. And we should acknowledge labor is not a moment where anyone should be left alone, or ignored, or even forced to endure unnecessary suffering, especially not when the signs of imminent birth are obvious. If we look at these videos, we saw that this woman was just few minutes away from her birth, because she gave birth 12 minutes later. And this shows that she was very close, to her delivery. And when we see a healthcare worker, choosing these paperwork over the patient, that she sees, plainly she's in, agony. It is very visible that this woman is in great agony. It reflects a catastrophic failure of both professional ethics and, basic compassion. Now, I guess I get to wonder, does she even know what it takes for a woman to deliver? I myself am a man, but from how I see the behavior of women while they're giving birth, I can really tell it's very excruciating, and I cannot want myself to be in such a situation. Now, this is a lady, I bet she should be more, aware of the pain more than me, because I'm a man. I cannot be in a position to really tell the exact pain that, women go through. But for her, even for her, she can really tell the pain, the amount of pain that this woman is going through. But I don't know, is it inhuman, or I get to wonder what was in her mind, when she was very focused on doing those paperwork instead of helping this, mother. It's so disheartening. And that failure, becomes even more painful when the patient is a black woman, because it mirrors a long-standing pattern of neglect and disbelief that black women experience in healthcare settings. And of course, I can call it racism. And on the other hand, I can also say it's lack of ethics. But both, are valid in this situation, because from the look of things, we're seeing a white, a white nurse and a black patient. So this, convinces me enough that it is racism. But again, we are also not sure if she really meant it, if she really wanted it to happen, or she lacks professionalism. Now, even as we continue to, talk about this, drop your comment. What do you think about this? What do you think of these actions? I also want to get to, to see it from your side. Okay, let's continue. Whether or not the nurse's actions, were intentional, the racial dynamics, of white caregiver ignoring a suffering black woman cannot be separated, from broader reality of medical racism. And, watching someone in agony and choosing administrative task over immediate care is not just insensitive, it is dangerous, it is, negligent and dehumanizing. Of course, she should have focused first with the patient and, leave the paperwork. Later on, she could have, followed up and, finished everything, or she could have even called for help. But she never did this. She continued. Let's all be, honest with ourselves here. Paperwork, no matter how important, should never take priority over patient who is minutes from giving birth, and a moment in which every, second counts. At this time, we are jeopardizing, the life of the mother and also the life inside, because once the life inside is affected, the one outside is also affected greatly. Like I said, it goes both ways. So she shouldn't have looked at the papers first. And also, to continue, the image of a black woman, forced to endure pain while a nurse, calmly completes forms, is a visual representation of a deeper, societal imbalance, whose comfort is valued and whose suffering is ignored. The emotion and sorry for that. The emotion trauma inflicted in that moment doesn't fade quickly. It can remain etched in the woman's memory, shaping how safe she feels, in medical spaces for years. And I can really tell it will be very hard for this woman to, trust medics. It will be very hard for her, to really trust them. And if she'll ever heal from this, maybe it will take quite a good, time for her to heal from this. And such an experience, from my side, I see it can create fear and anxiety. It will be very hard for this woman to really feel comfortable, in the hands of, the ones responsible or the ones who supposed, to save her life. And it is infuriating because care during childbirth should be grounded in urgency. It should be grounded in empathy. It should also be grounded in respect, not in cold bureaucracy or biased assumptions. Even if it's all about racism, it should not get to this point where now your humanity is taken away. It should not get to this point where your values, don't count. Even if the nurse believed paperwork was required first, she had an ethical responsibility to recognize that immediacy of these patients, needs, and the fact that she did not respond appropriately speaks to training gaps, training systemic failures and possibly harmful biases that influence how different patients are treated, especially in a white dominated hospitals. And moments like this do not occur in isolation. They are symptoms of a healthcare system in which black women's pain is too often minimized or ignored. I really thank the cameras. Now it helped us, got to see it. And, for the people who, showed these videos, man, I give you thumbs up. It is very okay for you to share so that we can address such kind of acts. It is very inhuman, and man, I personally didn't like it. Rumors are there like the woman you know has been sacked, but I'm not sure. Of course, some people are saying that she's just at home listening to your shouts and she'll be back to work. But I would say if this is the society, then we are messed up. I guess everyone should be held accountable, and I think she should lose that job because she's not fit. It's not about the skill here, it's about humanity. Do you have a sense of humanity in you for you to handle a human being? For me, humanity comes first before now we look at the skills. She could be very competent in terms of the skills, but is she human enough to handle a human? Now that is my question. Drop your thoughts, drop your views concerning these videos. I would also want to see it from your side. I would also like to learn from your perspective in the comment section. It is right there for you. It is right there so that we can learn from each other, converse together, and also hang out. For today, it's painful and I didn't like it at all. I don't know what will happen to this nurse, but for me, I would really love to see her being denied the chance to ever, or be given a period of time where she'll be corrected of her actions. I'm going to bring it to a close here. This was your first time to this platform. Thank you so much for tuning in, and also thank you to my returning subscribers. This was your first time. Thank you so much, man. And also do like the video, do share the content, and also don't leave without subscribing, man. Drop that like of yours. Really going to appreciate you doing this the same. I'm going to drop it here, and I'm really hoping to be seeing you in my next video. But until then, please stay safe and look after each other, man. We are always preaching about humanity here. It's because of humanity that we can live in peace and love, and this is the gospel that we preach here. Goodbye, my people.